Aloha from sunny Kunia here in West Oahu. We are here for the very first Agathon. That is the inaugural agricultural hackathon for Hawaii. It's been in the works for over 2 years, and I'm glad to see it finally coming to fruition. And specifically what we are doing here today is we are bringing the local technology and innovation sector, a cross-section of that community, to interact with the agricultural community. Our mission is specifically to hear problems faced by local farmers and to see if a different variety, a different mix of people can come up with ideas to solve those problems. One thing special, of course, about the Agathon is that before we get to those pitches, we are out in the field. We are helping the Hawaii Agricultural Research Center work on their projects here. Specifically, we're clearing coffee trees so that they can move on to the next round of their research. And after we get our hands dirty, after we basically experience some of the first-hand things that farmers go through, and perhaps, in fact, some of the inefficiencies that could be solved by innovative ideas, we're going to tour the rest of this facility to see some of the things that they grow and some of the things that they're working on. Finally, though, we do get to the pitches, and this is where representatives of the agricultural community are going to present problems, specific challenges, 5 of them that the Hawaii farming community faces. They include everything from ag theft to traceability to food waste and getting data so we understand where we are. And as we get to understand these problems, we can then get together, form teams, ask questions, meet with these subject matter experts, and then next weekend, after this kickoff, come together to design, build, propose, and finally pitch ideas that could become actual working solutions to help Hawaii's agricultural community. And from there could be an opportunity to really create a business proposition, a real app, something that can make a real impact. The big idea is to help Hawaii feed itself, to increase food security, to increase food sustainability, diversify our economy, and really grow the agricultural sector. Hawaii was once able to feed itself with a population of 1 million people, and now we import over 90% of our food. So what can we do to get back to a place where Hawaii controls its own destiny and where local talent makes that happen? Let's check it out.
Just grab it?
That was fun.
Yeah, just grab it and then just put it in there. Well, especially since Kevin and his group got that.
In the soil, promotes life within the soil, fixes nitrogen. Yeah, Sunhep fixes nitrogen, adds biomass. I mean, I could list it for days.
we made duplicates of those trees they like and give it to them because it was an industry-sponsored activity.
Woo! If you guys want, you can try the, so don't eat the seeds, but the mucilage.
Of problems, of issues that we need technological fixes to. And so I thank you again for being here. I thank Robbie, Bird, for putting this together. The solutions you come up with, if the Department of Agriculture sees them as viable, we're going to look to fund that work going forward. So please, put some, I know you will, put effort into it, because we're looking for those solutions now. I thank you all again for your time on a Saturday. Thank you and aloha.
It's not just a matter of doing it for the event or for the weekend. It's really about how can we take this and actually develop it, and how can we actually make a difference with the brain trust that we have here in Hawaii. So I do want to thank Scott for recognizing that.
Look at, if we start looking at this and we start seeing, are we decreasing food waste? What does that look like? Well, realistically, if we even reduced it 10%, if we reduced our caloric food waste by 10%, that would feed 21% of Hawaii local residents living in poverty right now for an entire year. That's a lot. Over 53,000 people could feed off of that. When you combine all these data points that are really important to these guys, and I know this is maybe a little dry, you guys are interested in ag, that's why you're here on a Saturday, right? But they're producing all this information. What we need is to put it together into a story, into a narrative that we can understand and then make decisions off of.
Our pitch is we need some kind of app that can train the small farmer in their language. For ADC, we work with a lot of Thai and Chinese farmers, so they speak Mandarin. Many of their children speak English, but the farmers themselves, the people who are actually operating and managing the farms, they don't really speak English, so they can't read those trainings saying, oh, you're not supposed to spray such and such. So it needs to be easy to use, a simple interface, affordable, and just being out there in the field, it has to be accessible. So it can't be like you need to connect to a Wi-Fi, because I don't think there's Wi-Fi out there in the coffee field. So you're going to need to have accessible, and by doing that, I guess you can educate the farmer, and they can, have, I guess, the tools that they need to meet the regulatory compliance, which is very important moving forward so that we can produce food in Hawaii.
And you can see just from the FarmLink Hawaii data over the past 3 years, this is what a graph of buyer to supplier looks like. And it's, I mean, we are super small too, but this is just this very, very small microcosm of transactions happening over the past 2 years. And it's already crazy. You can see all, multiple buyers purchasing from multiple suppliers. And we totally find, which, I think we all know, is the demand for local food far outweighs the supply. So what we're trying to do with FarmLink, and in general, is really help the producers sort of parlay any sort of orders that they get through FarmLink into more stability, increased sales of local food, and in turn that means, sort of being a catalyst for more buyers wanting to source locally.
When they do get there and we report the crime, nothing happens. A lot of times. I'm not saying all the time. Many times, nothing happens. Can't catch the guy, there's no evidence, we have no proof. Sometimes when they do catch the person, even before prosecution, there's retribution. So they steal some bananas. We report them. They get arrested. They get out because it's a misdemeanor. They come back and now they vandalize. Now they're gonna burn down my shed or burn my tractor. So one of the complaints we get from law enforcement, and again, we're not supposed to ask you guys for the solution, we'll see what the challenges are, is the reporting. Because our farmers and ranchers aren't reporting as much anymore, law enforcement is telling us, we don't see an issue. We don't see the high numbers that you guys are reporting.
Each one of these things is what farmers now need to know. And they need to record it and document it and put it into place as part of their food safety plan. And you can imagine for the last 20 years, I've been working with farmers and we've been doing it like this. We've been doing it paper-based, carbon copy. We went as far as putting it on PDF. We got PDF forms, form fillables, but these are the kinds of manuals. I mean, can you imagine? There's 3 years worth of manuals and paperwork that the farmers need to keep. And it's becoming so onerous, farmers are starting to look like that. They're not happy. They're disgruntled. This is the last thing that they want to be doing, is doing the record keeping. So I want to take the farmers from this to this, marrying ag with technology. I mean, I think there's possibly right now amongst you guys could probably think of immediately how we can get this done.